from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Movin Hettiarachchi.
A very good evening. I'm Nilanjali Ananda, and these are the headlines for tonight.
A 2-week ceasefire between Iran and USA. Peace in the Middle East is the expectation of Sri Lanka, says President to Arab ambassadors. Modernized central bus stand reopened. People's appreciation of the government's relief package. A special transport arrangement for the new year. The main function of the National New Rice Festival tomorrow in Anuradhapura. Now to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, US President Donald Trump states that a 2-week ceasefire has been established between Iran and America.
The Iranian foreign minister states that Iran has also agreed to the ceasefire agreement. A ceasefire agreement was reached between the two countries just hours before the deadline given by America to Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz expired. The American president had previously declared that if the Strait of Hormuz was not opened, the Iranian nation would be eradicated. However, sparking hopes for peace, both parties have succeeded in reaching a peace agreement between America and Iran. Pakistan is acting as a mediator in this regard, and Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif notes that the discussions between the two countries are proceeding strongly and steadily. Issuing a message on his social media platform, Truth Social, President Donald Trump states that following discussions held with Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Pakistani Field Marshal Asim Munir, the decision to launch attacks on Iran starting this morning has been postponed. Accordingly, Trump says that if Iran agrees to open the Strait of Hormuz, they will refrain from attacking Iran for a period of 2 weeks. He emphasizes that this is a bilateral ceasefire agreement. Trump also states that although America has already achieved all its military objectives, this decision was taken for a long-term peace with Iran and for peace in the Middle East region. He further states that he has received a 10-point proposal from Iran and is ready to discuss it. Among those proposals, not re-attacking Iran and the Iranian-backed Hezbollah organization in Lebanon and the removal of all sanctions imposed on Iran take a prominent place. While Iran agrees to remove the obstacles placed in the Strait of Hormuz, it has also proposed to charge an amount close to $2 million from every ship passing through the Strait of Hormuz. The Israeli Prime Minister's office has announced that it agrees with America's decision to suspend attacks on Iran for a period of 2 weeks. However, the statement indicates that Lebanon is not included in this ceasefire. But a statement by the Pakistani Prime Minister indicates that Lebanon is indeed included in this ceasefire agreement. Neither Lebanon nor the Hezbollah organization has issued a statement regarding this so far. Foreign media reports that Israel does not show much favor toward this peace agreement. Heads of state from many countries have expressed their appreciation regarding the temporary pause in the Iran war. Egypt states that the decision taken by America to suspend attacks against Iran will greatly help in de-escalating the tense situation in the region. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says that Australia expresses its appreciation for the ceasefire between the two countries. The Prime Minister of New Zealand also mentions that he expresses his appreciation for this ceasefire agreement.
President Nuwara Eliya says that Sri Lanka's expectation to establish peace rapidly in the Middle East region. The president made these remarks at a meeting held today with Arab Ambassadors Council for Sri Lanka. The ambassadors informed the presidents over the threats posed to the security and stability of the Middle East countries and the challenges faced by them in the prevailing war situation. The president, who expressed his regrets for the attacks that were directed at the Middle East countries that are not connected to the war, said that he will never approve such attacks. The president appreciated the support extended by Sri Lanka in the Middle East countries, praising the contribution of the Middle East countries made towards Sri Lanka in fulfilling power and energy needs. The employment opportunities and the support for the tourism industry was also appreciated by the presidents. The Middle East countries for their efforts of the security of the Sri Lankan migrant workers, and the President further said that he extends its maximum support for the peace and the security and stability of the Middle East region, and as a single country and collectively in pursuant of the international law. Deputy Minister Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando, Western Provincial Governor Hanif Yusuf, and heads of the Arab Ambassadors Council, Khalid Nazir Suleiman, and a number of ambassadors were present. Meanwhile, the meeting between the President and the Ceylon United Business Alliance was held today at the President's office. The President stated that empowering local industrialists is a prime objective of the government. It hopes to further expand opportunities given to local entrepreneurs in making supplies for the government. The concerns were also raised on the challenges faced by local industrialists due to war situation in the Middle East and other problems and the possible solution for them. They also focused their attention on the cess tax, shortage of human resources in the local industrial sector, and goods imported to the country illegally. It has also been decided to hold discussion on the relevant parties regarding measures that should be taken effectively to raise containers and rectify possible imperfections in the future.
Petah Central Bus Stand, the main transport centre of this country, has not undergone any orderly renovation for a period of about 60 years.
Due to this, the bus stand was in extremely dilapidated condition. But the situation today is different from what it was. The people have the joy in experience of the modern bus stand with the modern facilities.
After complete renovation, the Petah Central Bus Stand was opened to the general public today, led by Minister Bima Ratnayaka. The renovation process was implemented under the Clean Sri Lanka National Programme by the Ministry of Transport, Highways and Urban Development, Colombo Municipal Council, and with the cooperation of a number of other institutions. Technical and labour contribution was provided by the Sri Lanka Air Force. This colossal completion of this project, or rather the operation conducted throughout 24 hours, resulted in the completion of this project before the expected time frame. A sum of 424 million rupees was spent for this purpose. The terminal, consisting of modern facilities, will be maintained with the existing standard. Minister Bima Ratnayaka said that the real challenge moving forward would be maintaining the current standard. He explained that while buildings could be constructed quickly, changing people's mindsets would take time. He noted that although the public appreciated the development and had no complaints, appreciation alone was not sufficient to manage the system, emphasizing the need for firm management. He further said that the government was providing support, constructing infrastructure and introducing new buses, but stressed that those unwilling to adapt or change would have to be removed. The minister pointed out that the funds used were public money contributed through the taxes and hard work of the people, and therefore discipline was essential. He instructed that the Air Force should be involved for at least a year to help establish and maintain discipline within the system. Minister Ratnayaka also explained that the broader vision was to bring all major transportation hubs in the city, excluding the airport, under a single unified system. He mentioned that this process would take several years, but affirmed that it was an indeed direction. People expressed their positive comments regarding the modernization of the Central Bus Stand.
It has been emphasized in the Parliament today that a relief package process representing all layers of society was presented by the President yesterday. The parliamentarians observed this point participating in the adjournment debate. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that visiting flood-affected areas, the government had been able to spend 500 billion rupees to relief packages. He emphasized that done without printing money, and it has been done with the claims of the previous aid, including 5,000 rupees to everyone. Also questioned how the money had been provided, stating that it had been printed. Parliamentarian Gayantha Tilaka said that the results of such action were visible today, noting that a kilo of kiri samba was priced between 380 and 400 rupees. Deputy Minister Arun Hemachandra urged the Assembly not to make false statements. Parliamentarian Dilip Vidyarachi stated that the price of a litre of fuel has increased by 110 rupees. Deputy Minister Arun Hemachandra added that regarding the housing restoration, government had promised 25,000 rupees and provided that to 431,000 people. He pointed out that a total of 10.71 billion rupees had been paid, amounting to 9.37% of the allocation. Parliamentarian Sujiva Senasinghe said that the country has ranked 134 in the Indian Happiness Index, which he described as an achievement of the government. He also pointed out that the country ranked 107th in the Corruption Index. Parliamentarian Najib Indika responded by saying that although Senasinghe claimed corruption has worsened, he had failed to mention that 2024 ranking had been 121. Parliamentarian stated that within 1 year the government had improved by ranking by 14 places. Leader of the opposition Sajid Premdas stated that the use of substandard coal or 250 gigawatt hours of electricity had been lost, and that generating electricity throughout diesel power plants had cost 20.5 billion rupees. Minister Vasantha Samarasinghe said that April 10, 2022, when the country was declared bankrupt, vehicle imports had been stopped, the government recruited had been stolen, and their salary increments had been frozen, which he said led to country's collapse. Parliamentarian Najib Indika further stated that many factors had contributed to bankruptcy in 2022, including corruption, fraud, and central bank bond scam. He added that the book had been even written about it, but claimed it was difficult to find it even in the Parliament library.
President Kumara Dissanayake presented a special relief package to the Parliament yesterday, targeting the vulnerable groups in the face of global economic crisis. People expressed their views today regarding the relief they got during the festive season.
Regarding the possible situation that can be erupted in the future in maintaining essential services including fuel, fertilizer, power and gas, and measures that should be taken accordingly. People state that providing this relief package at the moment is more appropriate. Accordingly, each one-day fishing vessel will receive a relief of 50 rupees per litre of fuel for a period of 3 months. For multi-day fishing vessels, a sum of 150,000 rupees will be paid for the next 3 months. The government has decided to provide more relief for the fishing community. People express their satisfaction for the measures taken to pay an additional allowance for the month of April for low-income groups under the Swasama program, disregarding the number of members in the family. The existing fuel subsidy of 25,000 rupees per hectare has been increased up to 30,000 rupees for the yellow season. The fertilizer subsidy for an additional crop for the yellow season will be increased up to 18,000 rupees. The government intends to provide more relief to the agricultural sector.
The Advisory Council of the Ministry of Defence convened yesterday at the Parliament complex under the patronage of President Kumara Dissanayake. The Council held lengthy discussions that held earlier, and the matters highlighted by parliamentarians representing the North and the opposition parliamentarians. Special attention was focused to release the lands that are under the custody of security forces in the northern and eastern provinces. It was also discussed the matters pertaining to the opening of sections of roads that have been closed at present and the positive solutions that can be arranged. The President inquired the measures taken to solve the problems erupted regarding the lands belonging to religious places. Concerns were also raised on reconstruction of roads and irrigational schemes that had been damaged by Cyclone Ditwa, the process of granting compensation to the farmer community and its progress. At this discussion, the President pointed out that the government has taken measures to release nearly 1,000 acres of private lands in the north in the year 2025 on loan. The other sublands are also scheduled to be released systematically in future. The President stated that the government's aim is to manage the lands allocated for industries and economic activities while releasing the lands needed to maintain public lives. The President also instructed the relevant officials to look into the future measures that can be taken in this connection. Minister Harshanana Kara, Deputy Minister Aruna Jayasekara and a number of ruling and opposition parliamentarians were present at this occasion.
Rebuilding Sri Lanka Presidential Task Force met at the President's office in the afternoon of yesterday under the leadership of Prime Minister Dr. Hari Amarasuriya. Extensive discussions have been conducted regarding the progress of the Rebuilding Sri Lanka program and future plans. The Prime Minister on this occasion instructed to complete expeditiously the provisions of compensation to those who were affected by the cyclone Ditwa. She also instructed officials to take necessary steps to conduct the repairs of the damaged houses and the construction of new housing units. In an orderly manner, it has been also decided to hold special discussions with the district secretariats, divisional secretaries and concerned institutions in order to expedite the process of the development of infrastructure facilities and the construction of a new housing units. Progress of the main committee and the subcommittees established on the Presidential Task Force also was reviewed. The PDNA report prepared pertaining to Cyclone Ditwa was also handed over to the Prime Minister Dr. Hari Amarasuriya by the Deputy Minister Major General Aruna Jayasekara.
A special transport program has been implemented jointly with railway and bus services during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year season. At a press briefing held in the Government Information Department today, it was stressed that the buses have also been deployed for the people to come back to Colombo from the 15th to the 21st of this month. Sajiva Nandana Karunaratna, chairman of SLTB, said that from the 10th to the 13th, passengers would be transported from Colombo and surrounding areas to destinations outside Colombo. He added that from the 15th to the 21st, transportation would be arranged to bring passengers back to Colombo from various villages. He further stated that 1,500 additional buses would be deployed for this purpose. In addition, a regular service. He mentioned that 50 extra buses would be kept on standby. Dr. Nilan Miranda, Director General, stated that support was being provided by the Sri Lanka Police. He explained that inter-province bus services would operate from Bastion Mawatha, Makbura, Kadawatha and Kaduela, focusing on the Colombo region. He further stated that additional water tanks, toilet facilities, police security and health services had been arranged for passengers at Bastion Mawatha. He also noted that inter-province bus services would operate from areas such as Katanaika, Nitamua, Matugama, Piliandala, Biagama, Kaduela and Horana, adding that passengers did not necessarily need to come to Colombo to access these services. Ravindra Padmapriya, General Manager of Railways, said that in collaboration with the Railway Department, train operations on the Northern Line would commence from the 9th. He said that several special train services had been planned between Colombo and Kankasanthore starting from that date. He explained that an intercity express train would depart daily from Colombo Fort at 5:45 am, beginning its journey from Mount Lavinia at 5:15 am, heading towards Kankasanthore. He added that another intercity train would leave Kankasanthore at 1:50 pm for Colombo Fort on the same day. The General Manager further stated that a special train would operate from Colombo Fort at 6:40 am to Anuradhapura and that it would be linked with the train arriving from Kankasanthore at 6:30 am. He explained that passengers from Colombo could transfer at Anuradhapura to a train departing for Kankasanthore at 10:50 am, while passengers from Kankasanthore could transfer to Anuradhapura to a train heading to Colombo at the same time. People were purchasing goods and apparel needed for the Sinhala and Tamil New Year today as well in Colombo and suburban areas.
Sundar Nuwara Eliya Salini Vasanthe 2026 has attracted local and foreign tourists heavily. Official media patronage of the program is provided by the national television. For over a week, the production team has been providing continuous coverage of the beautiful Nuwara Eliya Salini Springs Festival, showcasing many scenic locations. Nuwara Eliya continues to offer a unique and refreshing experience with its cool climate and natural beauty. Visitors have now become familiar with the cold weather and the peaceful surrounding, despite the concerns that the current global situation might reduce tourist arrival. A large number of both local and foreign visitors are now traveling to Nuwara Eliya. The national channel invites everyone to visit and experience the beauty of Nuwara Eliya and enjoy the Salini Springs Festival 2026.
We'll be back with more news from home after this break.
Now continuing on with more local news, the main function of the National New Rice Festival is due to be held in Jaya Sri Mahabodhi premises in Anuradhapura in the afternoon of tomorrow, led by President Anurukumara Dissanayake.
The theme is Together to the Farmlands to Create a Nation with Food Safety. The National New Rice Festival is being held this year for the 59th occasion. Commencing the New Rice Festival, spilling of milk around the four main entrances to Jaya Sri Mahabodhi was conducted in the morning today under the guidance of Venerable Dr. Pallega Mehemaratnathera, Atamasthanaadhipati and Chief Sanganayaka of Nuwara Kalavia, Commissioner General of Agrarian Development, Damnika Ranatunga, and a group of government officials attended the occasion. Meanwhile, the New Rice Festival of Pulasithi Pulatisipura was held recently at the ancient Galvihara premises Polonnaruwa. The first paddy harvest collected from the Maha season from Polonnaruwa, Parakramasamudra, Kavadulla, Minneriya and Giritale farming colonies was offered to Lord Buddha. It was organized by Venerable Venerue Upalitera, Anunayaka of Askiri chapter and Somastanadipati and of Polonnaruwa, Mahasangha Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne and Deputy Minister T.V. Sarath along with large number of other guests joined the occasion.
Minister Samantha Vikramatne expressed his views on the decision taken regarding the compensation given to Maligam community living in the rooms in the estate areas who have been affected by the cyclone Detwa. Minister Samantha Vikramatne stated that the government has decided to recognize the state residents as citizens of the country and grant them an entitlement of 5 million rupees, even if they did not own a house or land in the line housing system. He explained that the line house was completely destroyed and identified as a high risk of the National Building Research Organization or deemed to have reached the end of its lifespan by the Disaster Management Committee, even partially damaged. The cabinet had decided residents would be eligible to leave 5 million rupees to rebuild the house. The minister further noted that this benefit would apply not only to state workers but to retired individuals who had no other places to go and continue to live in the line house, provided that they had suffered the specified type of damage. He added that the beneficiaries could use the funds to purchase houses if they had preferred. Additionally, the minister stated that the ministry would intervene in the construction of a house in its full supervision on the government-provided land, with each valued at 5 million rupees and covering an area of 650 square feet. The minister mentioned that the individuals with partial damaged houses who have not chosen to undergo assessment could instead opt to receive a minimum basic amount of 500,000 rupees and that the government had also decided to repair partial damaged line houses. Finally, the minister pointed out that fertility subsidy of 4,000 rupees per bag was currently being provided on the QR-based ratio and the Tea Smallholding Development Authority, and the government had decided to introduce an additional fertilizer subsidy of 5,000 per bag at the end of the year in the same system.
A memorandum of understanding was signed today between Colombo Dockyard plc and Dredging Corporation of India Limited (DCI) to provide dry docking, repair and modernization services for DCI's dredger fleet.
Ceremony took place at Colombo Dockyard premises with the participation of Indian High Commissioner Santosh Jha, Colombo Dockyard Managing Director Thimira Godakumura and Managing Director and CEO of DCI Captain S. Divakar, along with several other officials. Speaking at the event, Thimira Godakumura stated that the partnership enables Colombo Dockyard to collaborate closely with India and benefit from advanced technology transfer. He noted that with a 51% stake held by Indian interest, the agreement paves the way for a stronger cooperation and future growth. Indian High Commissioner Santosh Jha also shared his views with the media during the event.
Really happy to be here. I'd like to congratulate the Colombo Dockyards and Dredging Corporation of India for signing of this agreement, the partnership that they are entering into. I think this is increasingly becoming an example of the kind of partnership that India and Sri Lanka has been developing in the recent past. The process of acquisition of stakes in the Colombo Dockyard by an Indian company, Mascon, and the complementarity that brings it into our relationship is something that I have been advocating for, that we are seeing the immediate advantages of that as more and more businesses coming out of India, the ability of Colombo Dockyard to access the Indian market and benefit from it, and in return the expertise of Colombo Dockyard being extended to a neighboring country is a very, very important facet of our partnership. I think we often talk about win-win outcomes. This is a great example where both sides are winning and not one side is winning, and therefore I think really I must congratulate the new leadership here in Colombo Dockyard, and I'd like to thank also the Dredging Corporation for entering into this partnership as one of the first steps towards greater collaboration between India and Sri Lanka in this maritime sphere. So thank you.
The embassy in Sri Lanka in Beijing has launched a special commemorative tea table book titled Sri Lanka-China Relations, Community with the Shared Future in Beijing. The publication marks 70 years of diplomatic relations between Sri Lanka and China. The event, held on April 3, 2026, was attended by distinguished guests including senior officials from the Chinese Foreign Ministry, members of the Diplomatic Corps and the representatives from key institutions such as Chinese People's Association for Friendship with Foreign Countries. Authored by veteran diplomat Dr. Anand Kumar Siri, the publication showcases Sri Lanka's rich history, culture and resilience while also reflecting on the deep-rooted and evolving relationship between the two nations. Sri Lanka's ambassador to China, Majanta Vijayasinghe Singh, opened his remarks emphasizing the long-standing friendship between the two countries since the establishment of diplomatic ties in 1957, expressing his hope that the book will inspire future generations. Dr. Kumar Siri also highlighted the opportunities to enhance collaboration, particularly in technology, energy and value-added industries, underscoring China's potential role in supporting Sri Lanka's development journey.
The Colombo Stock Exchange ended today's trading positively. The all share price index closed at 21,917.60 after rising by 885.14 points, which represents a 4.21% change. The S&P SL20 index closed at 6,090.50, up by 257.69 points and 4.42%. Total market capitalization at the close of trading stood at 7.855 trillion rupees. Market turnover for the day amounted to 6.61 billion rupees with 247.83 million shares traded.
Thunder showers are expected in several parts of the island this afternoon, particularly in the western Sabaragamu and northwestern provinces, as well as in Galle, Mathura and Kandy, Nuwara Eliya and Mana districts. Meanwhile, most of the areas will experience many dry weather, where the public is expected to take precautions against strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Early morning misty conditions are also be expected to be in central parts of the central, Sabarakamu and Uwa provinces and the in parts of the Ampara district. Now to sports news. New head coach of the Sri Lanka's women's cricket team, Jamie Siddon, states that his main aim is to convert the team into a revolutionary one in the upcoming World Cup tournaments.
He expressed these comments to the media yesterday after taking up duties of his new post.
We need to play and start to develop a team and a style of play that can beat the best in the world. Otherwise, we're going to keep winning two against the smaller teams and not qualify and go through. So we need to keep working towards what style of play, how do we go about it, what skills do we need to get better at, what players do we need to bring in, maybe from the 19s or the 18s. That might help us to win World Cup cricket matches against the best teams in the world. You need to beat those teams. From the bowling perspective, we need to have some tricks. We can't just turn up and bowl an off spin. We need to have some different types of balls that we can bowl. Every fast bowler needs to have several slower balls so they can show those tricks so the batsman can't just line us up. The best teams in the world hit a lot of boundaries. We need to minimise those boundaries. From a batting perspective, we really need to start finding the boundary. We win in dot balls, which you don't want to do in a T20 game. We win in singles and we win in twos. We score more of those, but we don't score more boundaries than the opposition, and that's why we lose against the best teams. So our aim is to hit the ball harder, hit it to gaps where there are no fielders so we can score more boundaries, particularly in the middle overs. We know we've got hitters up top, especially two, they can score boundaries no problem. But in the middle overs, our boundaries dry up. That's where we need to get better. I've seen two very exciting young girls that haven't played much cricket, and they'll be on show out here today. I won't tell you their names, but they're well and truly up for the fight in a World Cup match. They're as good as anyone going around. So if we can keep developing those girls, might be a bit of an ask to get them ready by the World Cup, but they're quality fast bowlers, and our senior fast bowlers have done the job in the past. The first thing is to go and play really good cricket against Bangladesh and develop our style of play that we want to play. Again, I'll keep saying it, but we need to keep playing games that will beat the world's best. Australia, New Zealand, England, India. They're the best teams in the world at the moment. We need to keep playing a style of play that will compete with them and beat them. To do that, we need to change a few little things and play really good cricket and play to the best of our abilities. The girls are willing, they just need to be pushed along to be a bit braver, especially our batsmen.
That's it for tonight's English News Telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.